Hey, my name is Evie and I'm from Norway.
Hi, my name is Goljan and I'm from Norway.
And we're here to talk about our perspectives on Japan as international students and how our experience was when we came here with like the culture shock and the good points of Japan, what we find challenging, and also how it is compared to our country, Norway. We came here in January, and in a lot of ways I have noticed that Japan is quite similar to Norway and also very, very different. So of the similarities, it's very clean, very quiet in a sense.
And people are very polite here.
A bit reserved.
Very reserved, just like the Norwegians.
Yes. The nature is very pretty.
Oh yeah.
Like transport system is very, very effective and like organized, which I appreciate. And it's also similar to Norway.
I would say generally like systems, all spaces are very like kind of similar. It's very organized, very simple to understand.
And the formality is very different from Norway. Because in Norway, everyone is sort of equal. So you even talk to your professors the same way you would talk to your classmates. And we use no like pronouns. So you call your teachers by their first name also. There's not a hierarchy in the same way.
I feel like here you have to like be careful not to offend anyone.
Yeah.
And like using Miss or Mrs. like here. But in Norway it's very laid back. You would call like everyone in your life by their first name.
The food is very different. Grocery shopping was very hard. That was maybe like what I struggled with the most when I came here. So I didn't really find a grocery shop, but there's weird how there's food everywhere, but not regular grocery shops or what like I'm used to. So there's convenience everywhere, which is wild because that's not common in Norway. And
we do have 7-Eleven, but it's not as convenient as here in Japan, where it's actually
expensive.
Yeah, it's also very expensive. All the convenience store in Norway.
Money because you forgot something at a regular grocery store. And then, but the food is very good, and it's very. There's a lot of things that are very cheap in Norway that are very expensive here. It's also the opposite. So there's a lot of food that's very cheap here that is very expensive in Norway, which has led me to like change my diet around what is more common.
For me, it wasn't really that big of a difference or transition when it comes to like what kinds of food they have here, because I'm very used to having rice and noodles back home, because I'm also Filipino. So I love rice, and that's like, for me that transition was a bit more easier than Ingrid. But when it comes to groceries, fruit, I would say
so expensive.
It's expensive, but it's also expensive back home in Norway. Yeah.
The toilets.
The toilets.
That is wild. I think
the toilets.
The fact that when I sit down, there's rainforest sounds coming on.
Yeah,
that is what surprised me, like absolutely the most. Because my sister has been to Japan before, and I had some Japanese friends back home. So there was a lot of things I was sort of prepared for, but I was not prepared for the rainforest sounds.
But I do appreciate the heated seats.
Yes.
I do appreciate that one. But that came as a shock for me. I was like, oh, it's warm.
Yes.
But now that we know that it's normal, it's like, now we're used to it. But at the beginning, you were like, why is it so warm?
That is true. The amount of work and pressure the Japanese students are under here is also insane.
Oh yeah, work ethics here for the students, because back in Norway, the study culture here is crazy. It depends on what you study back home, but for us, we don't have mandatory classes that you have to attend.
I feel like the workload can be sort of similar just because we just don't have that much lectures, but we have a lot to read, and then your final grade is the exam grade, so it's just much more up to you what you get on the exam. But I feel like in Norway people slack so much more. It's like people can work hard, but not to the extent that people do here. With like some of our Japanese friends that sit up until like 3 a.m. And have 3 jobs. And, like if you do that in Norway, that's sort of an exception, if it makes sense. And many people take it chill.
I've noticed that not many people speak English here, especially the elders. Much elder generations here, and it's kind of I'm just like, I don't know how to communicate with them usually, but I think it's manageable. Like it's definitely manageable here.
I was very prepared for people not to speak English because that was what I had heard before. So what surprised me more was how happy people are when you try.
Oh yeah.
Because that's very different from culture to culture, how much it is expected that you try. And when you say like 3 words or like just try, they get very excited, and that makes me happy.
Yeah.
Or motivated.
Motivated, especially motivated.
Yeah. Okay. Perfect.
Bye-bye.